Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about how to create a healthy home. And of course, you know me. We're going to skip that slide. You see, healthy cells create healthy bodies. Degenerated and deficient cells will produce a diseased body. So this presentation shouldn't scare you because every single danger has at least one solution, and you can pick and choose what solution you want to implement first. And we cannot do everything in the presentation, and we cannot live in a bubble. Our bodies are miraculous and they can handle some dangers, but knowledge is power, so choose wisely. Some of this stuff may surprise you. You see, half of the people we know over 50 are struggling with degenerative diseases. Our children are growing up in a much more toxic world and will be facing even more disease than we did. There are different hidden dangers and we need to be aware of them because I'll tell you, nobody's going to tell you about this stuff, not the government, not doctors. Most people are even unaware. Our environment is not just the mountains and the oceans, it is our home. And we spend most of our waking hours in our home and most of our hours in our day at our home with sleep and everything. And so this is one environment that we do have control over. You see, outside, there are warning signs of environmental toxicity. Inside your home, it's not so visible. A 10 to 20% reduction in toxic load day after day, year after year will add up and make a huge difference. We can avoid gallons of toxins by being aware and making better decisions. If you lower your toxic burden, your body has a better shot of taking care of you for decades. So let's start with your bathroom and a medicine cabinet. Okay, what is inside? What does it look like? A lot of people are self-medicating. And the scary thing is all of us are already exposed to antibiotics in meat, tap water, dairy products. There are millions of pounds of antibiotics put into animals, and then we eat those foods and the antibiotics get into our body. When you actually have an infection that needs an antibiotic, you may be resistant and it won't be as effective. So you want to be careful with what you eat and don't over-medicate. For example, we eat too much, no problem, take an antacid. Drink too much to prevent a headache, take a painkiller. Feel a cold, go to the doctor and get an antibiotic. Even though antibiotics don't work on colds, I know doctors that still give them out. Stressed out, you have neck pain, take another painkiller. We need to address the root cause, what is causing the problems with our health, instead of simply masking the symptom. I always say most medication is just a Band-Aid. Let's go to the root cause. So for oral health, gum disease is directly related to heart disease, so you must care for your mouth. Fluoride is also a hidden danger. Read your toothpaste label. It says if more than a pea-sized amount is swallowed, contact poison control immediately. And yet, many of us put this in our mouth every single day. How ironic, right? Fluoride actually pits your teeth, hardens the enamel, hardens your bones, and can make structures brittle. And we certainly don't want brittle bones. You see, people over 60 years old, if they had been exposed to fluoridated water, they have a 20% greater chance of dying in the same year if they break a hip. Fluoride is one of the most toxic substances in the periodic table. It displaces the calcium in your teeth and in your bones, making both hard and brittle. For strong teeth, instead, take magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D. And then there's another oral danger. It's mercury. The ADA says if you take mercury, the most natural toxic substance on earth, mix it with silver and tin and copper to make a solid, that it's no longer toxic. Okay, does that add up? Notice the sarcasm. And then we put it in our mouths and it won't produce a problem. Hello? The Mad Hatter disease came from the 1800s when they were making the top hats and they used mercury to do so. The people working in the manufacturing plant would go crazy and they would be called mad as a hatter. The mercury would cause neurological disease. It attacks the fatty tissue in the brain and is linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. And here's an interesting statistic. Dentists have a very, very high suicidal rate. So I wonder if it's from dealing with all this mercury toxicity. OSHA says that if 100 micrograms per cubic meter are the limits, or you would have to evacuate a room when it comes to mercury toxicity that's airborne, okay? And if you use a drone meter to measure mercury and then you brush a tooth within an amalgam or silver filling, which contains this mercury, the meter will register at 158, which is over 150% of the legal limit. The mercury inside your filling it actually turns to gas and becomes toxic. And this is in your mouth, but the ADA says it's safe and you need to protect yourself. So have a biological dentist safely remove them. If you just have a standard dentist remove them, then they don't do it right. So if you have silver fillings, do not chew gum or ice, avoid hot liquids, and never brush your teeth dry. Just get them removed. And don't go to a dentist who uses mercury fillings because they clearly don't understand the problem that mercury causes. Personal care products. Here's a quiz. How many products do you think you use every day? Well, it's 10 to 15 average. The danger is these products can have preservatives, parabens, or formaldehyde-releasing agents, and they are very dangerous. Think about the estrogen patch or the nicotine patch. These chemicals can go straight into your bloodstream, and they are another endocrine disruptor. There is a maximum safe level that a manufacturer can use when blending a toxic product into your beauty products. But multiply that by how many products you use in a day, and you are well over this safety zone. These are also known as gender benders, and girls get to puberty at younger and younger ages. They have been implicated in diseases also because these xenoestrogens are the greatest cause of hormone-dependent tumors, breast and prostate cancer. There's this campaign that says, Estee Lauder, stand behind your pink ribbon, because a lot of Estee Lauder products have parabens in them. And I want to say it's a really, really high percentage. Like 99% of all breast tumors have found parabens inside those tumors. It's really crazy. And also, do not use aerosols and breathe in those chemicals like perfumes and things like that. So your solutions: cut back on drugs for minor or moderate pain. Safely dispose of all old prescriptions that you've been saving so that you can protect it from landing in our water supply. Boost your immune system with healthy foods, sleep, and quality supplements to protect your cells. Change bad habits that require self-medication later. And do not run to the doctor for every cold or flu. Let your body fight it naturally. I remember when my kids were little and they'd get a fever, one of my friends would always say, are you going to take him to the doctor? I'm like, no, I'm going to let the fever do the job and burn out the infection. Okay, oral solutions. Take a calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D supplement for healthy teeth. Also, floss every day. There's a saying, it says, only floss the teeth you want to keep. Don't chew gum or ice. Replace those mercury fillings. And use a tongue scraper instead of mouthwash, because mouthwash has formaldehyde. And use fluoride-free toothpaste. I use a brand right now. I switch around, but right now I'm using a charcoal toothpaste by a company called Schmidt's, and it's fluoride-free. Cosmetics. Reduce the number of products you use. Wash your face when you get home to protect it from environmental pollutants. And stop wearing perfumes and colognes. Switch to a paraben-free skincare, and you can find really good solutions on a website called Skin Deep, which is put out by the Environmental Working Group. Because your skin absorbs these products just as if you were drinking them. Your skin is your largest organ. Don't tell your husband. He might argue with you about that. Okay, bedroom. Sleep is critical for health. It's not just about being tired. There are other things linked to lack of sleep. These are linked to lack of sleep. And lack of melatonin production, which is how you go to sleep, okay? Prostate cancer, high blood pressure, breast cancer, Parkinson's, cardiovascular disease, obesity, and I'm sure there's more. You see, sleep is critical for good health, and melatonin is a part of that process. Human growth hormone, also known as HGH, is one of the most important hormones in the body. It has tremendous antioxidant potential and serves as a neurotransmitter that regulates many body systems. We call this the fountain of youth. When the sun sets and darkness sets in, the brain starts producing melatonin, which goes out and stimulates human growth hormone. But if the light hits the eye, then a message is sent to this gland to shut off the production of melatonin and HGH. This is important for protein and fat metabolism, and it allows cellular repair to occur while we sleep. So we really, really, really need melatonin and HGH production. So a flash of light from like a bathroom light, an alarm clock, a night light, any of those, you really need a dark environment. Guess which light is the most disruptive, blue, green, or red? Well, it's blue. Red is the least. So make sure that any lights in your room they have a red color so it doesn't stimulate melatonin disruption. Okay? And what else has invaded your bedroom? It's no longer a sanctuary. We have treadmills, laptop, chargers, baby monitors, and they all produce electromagnetic radiations, also known as EMFs. This is why I wear an eye mask, earplugs, and I sleep with my phone down the hall. You see, we are electrical bodies and energetic beings. Our body is composed of cells, which are composed of atoms, which are composed of particles. And in between all of these particles is space, also known as energy. There is more energy in these particles. When you're looking at them through a microscope, then these are subatomic particles, okay? And if you look at like a cell slide of these through a microscope, there's mostly going to be space and not as many particles. So you can see from that we are definitely indeed energetic beings. With all of the man-made energetic grid radiation that have been created, we now have radiation that is interfering and disrupting this delicate electrical system in our body. They are actually causing cellular damage, especially to all of our cell membranes. And power versus proximity. Parks with power lines may contribute to kids getting cancer, even though they are pretty far away. Think about an electric blanket lying right on top of you all night long while you're sleeping for 7 or 8 hours. And then there's the nightstand right next to your head, which is a place where you spend a third of your life. What do you have on your nightstand? Do you have an alarm clock? Do you have your cell phone? Do you have your iPad charging? Do you have a lamp? What do you have right there? Well, a Gauss meter measures EMF fields, and when you test different objects, such as your lamp, your cell phone, your radio, the meter will show the EMF exposure. However, battery-powered clocks don't register. Your iPad is clean, but your charger is bad. Even when the lamp is off, because it's still plugged in, it creates EMFs. So you want to push all these devices as far away as possible from your bed, unplug them when not in use, and the radiation will go right through the walls. And the Wi-Fi is the worst culprit because it goes all around your house. So dry cleaning. It's not really dry. Your clothes are put into a solution that looks like water, but has the characteristics of gasoline, and it does remove the dirt and grime, but it leaves a toxic residue, and it is there for days. They don't even rinse it off, okay? It off-gasses, and it lingers in your air for days. Lung cancer, leukemia, cervical cancer, lymphomas, and it also causes liver and kidney damage. The good news is California has banned PERC, which is the chemical, and in 2023, it's supposed to be outlawed, okay? This was about 10 years ago that they banned it, but they gave the dry cleaning operations like 12 or 13 years to change out their machinery. Is that crazy? So they know it's a problem, but they still allowed it to be in existence for like 12 or 13 years. So you want to find a green dry cleaner, somebody who doesn't use PERC, okay? Or you can off-gas your clothes by taking them out of the plastic and hanging them outside for a couple days. Don't put that toxic gas in your bedroom, in your closet, or on your body. Sleep solutions. Make your room completely dark and keep it cool. About 64 degrees, I think, is ideal. Open your windows during the day and air the house out. No screens at least 30 minutes before bed. And if you must use a screen, wear amber glasses or blue light blockers. Okay, you can get them almost anywhere now. Limit your blue light exposure before bed. That means blue light comes from your TV, your computer, your iPad, your phone, and a lot of fluorescent lights and LED lights. They all have blue light. And wear earplugs and an eye mask. I absolutely love my soft pink satin eye mask. My husband says I look like such a babe with my hair up in a high knot, my eye mask, earplugs, and my mouth guard. EMF solutions. Remove unnecessary gadgets. Get rid of electric blankets. Unplug any items that are not in use and turn off your Wi-Fi when you're sleeping. Keep your cell phone out of the bedroom, or at the very least, put it in airplane mode. Dry cleaning solutions. Use a green dry cleaner. Wear your clothes several times before getting them cleaned again. That way you're not stacking chemical on chemical on chemical. Air out your dry cleaning outside, or if it's raining or snowing, put them in the garage. And wear undergarments underneath your dry clean clothes so that the toxins don't seep into your skin. And best yet, buy clothes that don't need dry cleaning and then just buy an environmental friendly detergent to wash them. Kitchen. Our water is one of the most dangerous substances in the kitchen. The contaminants that we are finding in tap water will surprise you. Arsenic, mercury, benzenine, lead, cyanide, radon, perc, which is that dry cleaning fluid. It makes its way into your water, chloroform, and nitrates. You cannot have healthy cells when you're bathing your cells in toxins. You have to purify the water that you drink and that you cook with. Many experts say, well, it's only a little bit of arsenic. It won't hurt you. But you are supposed to be drinking a lot of water every day, and that means that you are getting a lot of arsenic every day. So find a solution for purifying your water. And bottled water isn't a good solution because it's usually just tap water put in a bottle, and then you have the plastic to contend with. You don't know how long that water's been there. It could be for a year or longer, and you don't know if the plastic was heated, which means that the chemicals are leaking into the water. But if you're out and about and you must use plastic, please do not let the plastic bottles get hot. If they get hot, throw them away. Also, don't crinkle up your bottle, okay? Because this actually makes the plasticizers leach out into your water. And at home, at least use carbon filtration. It will remove organic pesticides, herbicides, and other toxic things like chlorine and some lead, but it just won't take out the fluoride. So I really recommend getting a reverse osmosis system. You can find one on Amazon for about $200. The one I found actually puts it makes your water alkaline, which is really preferred for your body. I had to drink some water. Food. People think that if they eat unhealthy, they will gain weight. However, much more happens when you eat unhealthy than simply just gaining weight. Many people think that if they exercise, they will not gain that weight, and so then they can eat whatever they want. Well, that is not true. When you look at a woman's blood cells through a microscope, they are gracefully moving through the capillaries, like dancing with each other. And then you take the same woman, and then you give her fast food. And then you look at her blood cells, and they can barely move. See, this is way more about health than just about weight. Due to toxic exposures that we are exposed to on a repeated basis, there's this battle going on inside of our bodies. And when you feed your body proper nutrients, you have a much better chance of winning it. You would never put Coca-Cola in your gas tank of your car, right? Then why do we put it in our bodies? You can always buy a new car. So here's the deal. You may not feel or see what's going on inside your body, but 5, 10, 15 years down the road, it's going to sneak up on you. Just look around you. Look at how many people that you know that are, we call it living too short and dying too long, meaning that they just are dealing with degenerative disease as they age. They could get it in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and then they live like 10, 20, 30 years sick. I'd rather be dead, quite frankly. Plastic. Okay, so another plastic is Tupperware. So it's so easy and convenient, the Tupperware. It just stacks up in your drawer until you have like 100 of them and they just don't fit anymore. And then they get all scratched and worn and you've probably had the same Tupperware for 20, 30 years, right? Well, the longer you've had them, the more worn out. And then so they get more the chemicals leach out of them the more beat up they get. And there's endocrine disruptors, bisphenol A, which is BPA, and xenoestrogens. These disrupt the hormone balance in the body and increase estrogenic activity, and this contributes to hormone-dependent cancers like breast and prostate cancer. And here's the thing. They take out, now you hear, oh, it's BPA-free, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They replace the BPA with BPS, which is bisphenol S instead of bisphenol A, and you've never heard of it. So they're getting away with it, and it's 10 times as toxic as BPA. So you don't want that crap, right? And then there's styrofoam. Styrofoam breaks down due to fatty food and heat. But what do we put in styrofoam? Fatty food and hot drinks, right? Coffee, hot chocolate, leftovers from pizza or whatever. You go out to dinner. And then these chemicals are released into your food and, of course, find their way into your body. Even eggs. If you buy eggs that are stored in styrofoam, you know what happens? The chemicals from the styrofoam absorb through the shell, and they test the egg white, and they actually test positive for the chemicals found in styrofoam. You see, that is how we know it is indeed getting into your food and your drink. Notice, Starbucks does not use styrofoam. It uses paper cups. Non-stick pans. Oh, this is a good one. These things are fairly safe provided you don't heat them. Haha, so what are you going to do with a pan? When you heat the nonstick surface, what do you think comes off of it? Fluoride. And we've already talked about fluoride, right? Well, DuPont has a warning that you should make sure that you don't have any birds or small animals in your kitchen when cooking with nonstick pans, because the lungs of the bird can dissolve, and the off-gassing of the Teflon pans tend to kill the bird if they breathe in these fumes. However, it's okay for you to breathe them in. Just make sure that the bird that you love, that little Tweety bird, is out of the kitchen. Because fluoride in any form is a vicious, toxic element that we should not expose ourselves to in any manner. So, kitchen solutions: a charcoal filter on your water or reverse osmosis. Use stainless steel water bottles or glass. Ditch the plastic. Because, and then especially, do not drink from a plastic bottle left in the heat. I remember when my kids were in soccer, all of us moms would carry those big, like 24 packs of water in our cars all the time. And of course it got hot, cold. That was so bad, but we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So store food in glass instead of plastic. Ditch all the Tupperware. And choose grilled or baked instead of deep fried. Oh, we didn't even talk about this one. You see, what happens is when you cook in high heat and the oil smokes, that becomes carcinogenic. And when you barbecue and things get charred, that too is carcinogenic, okay? So you want to not overcook your food. And don't deep fry it either. Air fryers are great. Open your windows in your kitchen to air out the toxins from your cooking and from your cleaning agents. And take a high quality vitamin to protect your cells, okay? Because you're constantly bombarded with toxic fumes. Cooking solutions: replace all your nonstick with stainless steel or cast iron. Don't let oils reach their smoke point. Use parchment paper under the aluminum foil. Martha Stewart actually makes this awesome product that's parchment on the inside and aluminum foil on the outside. And don't heat plastics or styrofoam. Living space VOC, volatile organic compounds. We need to open our windows because the real solution to pollution is dilution. Air it out. Open the window and let the clean air in. And also with cleaning products. Why do we insist on using the green stuff and the blue stuff and the purple stuff to clean our homes? These toxic cleaners are also harming our bodies. And how can you tell when your home is really clean? What does it smell like? Does it smell like flowers, bleach, ammonia, lemon, the perfume of the cleaning lady? Well, the truth is none of these are correct. If your house is really clean, then it would have a lack of contaminants, because really, what does clean air smell like? Nothing. Now, if you have flowers inside your house, that's okay. You can smell them, and that is really good. So these cleaning products are produced in the lab, and they come from petroleum-based agents. They trick our noses into believing we are smelling lemons and roses. Our bodies want to breathe air, not these chemicals and fragrances. And don't feel like you need to sterilize your home, because germs in your home are mostly your germs, and germs are good. We know that our society has become such clean freaks that our microbiome, which is in our gut, on our skin, is not as good as it used to be. And it is a huge thing. I'll do a whole nother training on microbiome. Okay, but you need those germs. You don't want to be overly sterile and use all those hand sanitizers and all that stuff. They've linked that to not good microbiome. Okay, so your body is used to your germs. And yes, you want to wash your hands, wash your face and all that, but you don't need to worry about killing off every germ. Okay, because your microbiome and your cells need it. Putting toxic things into the air is not good. You want to realize that the healthy home is not a sterile home. You want a good immune system? that can handle fighting any of the germs that you're exposed to. I talk about the flu shot a lot to people because they go and they get a flu shot, which they're injecting their body to prevent one strain of the flu. Well, what about all the other strains? What about all the colds? What about all the other shit? Whoops, stuff in the air. The thing is that we want our immune systems to fight cancer and to fight the common cold. It's not just about the flu. And also don't use aerosols because these aerosol cleaners find their way into your lungs and into our environment. Chlorine bleaches and ammonia cleaning products are harmful too. When adding chlorine to ammonia, what happens is a toxic gas is created, and this was actually used in World War I. And soldiers would absolutely destroy their lung tissue because fluid would form and the soldiers would drown from suffocation. Heavy metals. CFL light bulbs, which are supposed to be energy efficient, which they are, but it turns out they're horrible for our environment. OSHA states that 100 micrograms per cubic meter is the max amount of mercury that is allowable before you have to evacuate a room. And they've tested the mercury levels in a room with a broken light bulb, a CFL light bulb, and it was off the chart, like literally at over 999 micrograms. And even after they vacuumed it up for about 15 seconds, it was still off the chart. And this is just a disaster in our homes and our environment. And the manufacturers know these bulbs are dangerous. They have these rules in case of breakage. They say evacuate the room and then open up all the windows. Well, it's hard to do if you've evacuated the room. So you pick the person you like least to do this. Haha, just kidding. Turn off your heat and air because you don't want it spreading through all the other rooms in the house. And then put the glass in a container, vacuum the rest, and then put it in the landfill. What? And then that is crazy. And even if one of these bulbs doesn't break inside your home, it's going to break eventually. And then all of that leaks out inside of our environment. Fluorescent light isn't even healthy light. It's that blue junk light that shuts off melatonin production. It drains you of energy and it turns. And what happens? I just said that. I'm sorry. I know this stuff. I'm just not even reading these slides. Here's another thing. It's really interesting. So most of the overhead lighting, if we're like in a classroom or an office or something, is fluorescent lighting. Well, the light moves really fast. It flickers at a super high rate. So it really kind of like stimulates your mind. And for instance, I prefer wearing a cap in that type of environment because it just makes me feel really yucky and bad. And I do know that there's been studies that show like kids with ADD or ADHD, it really, really does affect their behavior in the classroom. So you might want to think about if you have kids with that to get them a hat. Living room solutions, do away with aerosols, eliminate bleach and ammonia, use natural cleaners instead. They also even have these new cloths that I just got that they say you can use them and you don't even need chemical cleaners or whatever. Oh, get houseplants. I'm like in my room right now and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 houseplants just in my bedroom. They're really, really, really good to clean your air. A HEPA filter, a HEPA air filter helps as well. Remove your shoes at the door. Don't bring stuff in. Eliminate pesticides in your home and garden. Open your windows often and air it out and remove chemicals that are stored in your garage or attached to a house. I remember when we were moving my parents out of their house, my dad called hazmat because he's like, I can just smell the chemicals in here. Like I know it's got to be dangerous. And there you guys go. Okay. Did you learn a thing or two? I sure hope you did. Hi. I see you guys all in here now that I'm back on Facebook. I hope you learned a thing or two. I will be posting this in the membership site. So if you ever want to look at it again, you can. So thank you for watching and have a super night, ladies. Okay, bye.